kind of move into the inside here. Much better contrast. And I'm going to go ahead and use my roller adhesive to stick these down also. That way if I need to move them, I can. But also I won't have to wait for the glue to dry, because I'm going to start messing with these little flags here. Sometimes the glue kind of bunches up on one side, just fold it to the back. Okay, so remember I told you it doesn't matter about how the handwriting goes on there? That's because we're going to do a little bit of kind of fixing up here. It doesn't matter, you know, if the pen skips or if you don't spell things. Well, okay, it does matter if you spell things correctly, but we're just going to go over the letters again, kind of foof them up a little bit. So if you want to, you can look at a font and kind of mimic the font. But I'm just going to do some freehand kind of fluffing of the letters here. You could make them shaky letters for Halloween. You could make them gothic looking. I'm just kind of adding some little points to the ends here and darkening the letters. This is making it look a little bit more fancy. Let's go out to the front and kind of fix up these letters a little bit too. I pulled out my Harvest collection of embellishments, and I've got some more My Mind's Eye from Halloween last year. Some little embellishments. I'm going to see what these look like. I've got some chipboard things. I love banners. Hey, if you've got a couple banners, just maybe throw a couple more on, right? I really like the way this looks, but I'm not sure I need this one. So, play around a little bit. It's pretty easy to stick on and off. And I kind of like it with just two, or maybe the shorter version of it. So, I'll leave that out for now. Go close back in here. I've cut a little piece, and I'm just going to play around with where the placement's going to be. Well, this card turned out really cute, I think. It's a little bit different. It's kind of fussy. There's some places that, you know, might not have turned out the way that I thought they were, but I like it. The inside is really cute too. So it says, I should come with a warning label. And then the little cat has this sign that says, beware. You mess with the kitty, you feel the claws. Isn't that cute? Okay, I know just the right person to send this to. Okay, now let's make these little pumpkins down here stand out a bit. Okay, got my gray marker. I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing underneath here. Now, when I cut out the pumpkins, I did go over the edges of them with my black shadow ink marker. And I'm just going to use this gray marker to kind of fill in a little down there. And I think that looks really good. On the front, I did that around here. You can't tell because it has a natural shadow, but also went around the bottom and underneath the sign, a couple places that I just thought it might look a little bit kind of plain. So like around the sign here, just to make it pop a little bit more. So that's up to you if you want to try that. Again, if you're uncomfortable with something, just experiment. You just might find that you're more artistic than you assume you are. Okay, let's put this one aside and let's finish up a card that I started last night. Okay, I've got the same pieces of paper. These are the pieces of paper that you saw I had cut out of those full sheets. I made another little flag out of a sentiment. Cut out some pumpkins. This time I left the white border around there. I made a flag and a piece of glitter strip that I had actually used the other part of. So this is the negative cut. And guess what I used to cut this with? Not a silhouette, no, not the Cricut. I just used my old-fashioned decollage scissors. I know, when do you ever get those out? Okay, remember our sticker sheet? And I said that this would be something I could tear off, so I'll just lift it off. It's really easy to come off. A little bit of the design came with it on the back here, but that's alright because I can put something else over the top of it. And I'll position this kind of pointing towards my boo here. I can play with how much I want, where I want the emphasis to be. And I kind of like it to go right where the center of the bee lines up. That looks good. Now if the sticker isn't sticking all that well with the torn off pieces of paper, you can just use your adhesive and run it on there. You don't have to build it up with more dimensional adhesive, but if you do, the whole thing will pop up. If you only leave the adhesive that's already on there and then just put some glue over here, then you'll get a different kind of raised edge. It will have a different dimension. So mine sticks flat on the bottom and lifts up at the top. Now at the top of my card I see there's a little border that's not quite even, so I'll just cut that off. So I've got my 3 quadrants now on my card. Remember, when we decorate in groups of 3 or odd numbers, that's going to be more pleasing to our eye. I've tried to balance the amount of emphasis in each quadrant with the most, a little, and the littlest. But I do want to see what adding some different things would do. Okay, so this card is good to go just how it is. Open it up, and I used some manufacturer's strips here and some offcuts that were pieces left over from the back sides of these here. Just layered them in there, cut a little pumpkin out, and added a jewel. So just kind of unexpected fun. Okay, so let's step it up a notch. Let's see what happens when we add a little bit more zhoosh or foo-foo to the top here. I've got a beautiful piece of gray lace that's just the right kind of brownish gray color to go right up at the top. I have found that using roller adhesive is the best way to glue things, like trim. The liquid adhesive takes too long. So I applied my roller adhesive in equal intervals all along the top, being careful not to get the adhesive stuck in between the small spaces of the lace. And now I'll put the edges of the lace off of the card and move it around until I like the way it lines up. So you see, if I put it here, I've got a full circle of the lace on either side. That's a pretty good place to cut, because if I cut off the edge, it's got a nice tight binding there. Another good place could be in between the larger parts where it swoops. However, that will leave loose ends, and I don't want to try to glue those down. Turn it over and cut off the edges. This side's glued down really well, but this side I think needs a little bit more. So I just fold the ribbon over, put some on the edge there, fold it back. Okay, that's really subtle and I love it. Now I want to add some more here and see what else we can do to make it even more fabulous. I'm going to get out my blue enamel dots. These are by Basic Gray. They call them candy buttons. I think that's so cute. We've also got some gray My Mind's Eye enamel dots. I think they do call theirs enamel dots. And I'm going to add this last one in the mid-size, and I'm going to kind of make a little triangle. I'm going to add this one in the mid-size, and I'm going to make a triangle. This looks even more awesome now. I fiddle with it a little bit just because it's fun to fiddle with your card after you've just made it. I love how glitzy it is. I love the shine of the enamel dots. And the paper here is kind of flat, but I like that too. Maybe I'll add a thin, maybe later I'll add a thin adhesive strip or something, but I like it just the way it is. It's easier to mail the thinner it is, so I always try to consider that when I'm making my cards. Okay, thanks for stopping by for another Craft with Anna adventure. I hope you'll come back by soon and check out my blog for more creative musings, and thanks for stopping by to get crafty with me.